Welcome to the session of mindfulness, awareness, and compassion practice. Today, we'll go through a sequence of short practices, getting grounded, then getting focused and sense of presence and mindfulness, and then opening to environment and awareness. And then we'll conclude with some contemplations on compassion, which are sorely needed in today's world with the invasion of Ukraine, the war, the civil wars in Sudan, the horrible atrocities happening in the Middle East and elsewhere in the world, and recently another school shooting in America. It gives one pause, and we can think about what we're going to work with in the compassion practice is what are the causes of all of these. We could say there's, historical causes of this, that, or the other thing, and those are on the surface, but what is it that makes people do things like this? And the root, as far as the Buddhist teachings are concerned, the root is ignorance. It's not inherent evil, but a deep ignorance that takes things to be other than they are and creates often a series of seemingly logical conclusions based on misinformation, misunderstanding, and basically an upside down perspective, so that we come to a horrible logical conclusion that this terrible action that could harm ourselves and certainly others is necessary. That's the scary part. So it's based on this root kind of ignorance, and then it manifests in these poisonous emotions of greed, jealousy, intolerance, hatred, pride, lust for power. So many of these negative emotions, and then we take them to be valid and develop conclusions from them that cause us to act in ways that harm ourselves and others. So that's what we'll work with in the compassion section. To be able to work with any of these things, it helps to see things clearly. And we could say, well, I gotta clear away the clouds. I gotta clear away the obscurations. And to think of doing that forcefully actually just keeps things stirred up. So the metaphor is, if you have some muddy water, rather than trying to get a plunger and plunge down the dirt, instead the approach is take the stick out, take the spoon out, whatever's stirring it up, and as it quiets, the dirt settles to the bottom and the water becomes clear. So that's the approach that we're taking here. It's a metaphor, yes. There are pollutions that stay in the water, so don't get too caught up in it's a metaphor for the cloudiness and muddiness of our minds. So let's get started. And to begin with, we're taking a sitting posture. Traditionally, this is done because if we are standing, we tend to want to move and do something. If we're lying down, the tendency is to fall asleep. So we're going to sit up, and as we were told in our classrooms when we were kids, sit up and pay attention. So this is our posture for paying attention. Now, we're going to do the first little period of grounding and centering with our eyes closed, if you're comfortable with that. But after that, we're going to be doing the practice with our eyes open. So you're going to want to turn your device or turn your seat, or both, so that you're not looking directly into the screen. We don't. It's not good for your eyes or for your mindfulness. We want to have some space to look at, so not looking directly into your device. So adjust your situation that way, and then take your seat. And let's start from our connection with the seat, our sit bones. Okay? So feel the sit bones pressing into your seat, and balance them so that there's not more weight on one side or the other. Now let's work with our lower body. So our legs, you can either have your legs crossed in front of you, or if you're in a chair and you're comfortable, you can have your feet flat on the floor, about hip width apart, so that your shins are vertical, perpendicular to the floor. Now, if you have long legs or a low seat, it's helpful to have your knees lower than your hips. So if that's the case, do cross your feet at your ankles and we'll let your knees widen so they're lower than your hips. And get comfortable that way. It's best not to be leaning back against anything, but if you need to, for your physical limitations, you can do that. And if you tuck a little something under the back of your butt or your lower back, that can also help your posture. All of that's fine. It's not intended to be a torture session. So now for your torso, you want to be upright but not rigid. And again, not tilted to the left or right, not tilted forward or back. You can't really say what centered feels like. You can just know that it's not left or right, forward or back. Feel that. And for your arms, let them just, the upper arms hang vertically from your shoulders. Bend at the elbows and put your hands palm down on top of each thigh respectively. You probably won't be reaching out all the way to your knees, because then your upper arms are reaching forward and you're not pulling back. Upper arms just hang naturally from your shoulders, forearms and hands. Forearms go along your thighs and hands palm down on the top of each thigh. You find it helpful for your posture to feel like the center of your sternum, your breastbone, put a little tension there by feeling like you're pushing it slightly forward and slightly up, so a diagonal. And you'll notice just by doing that, your chest opens up, your shoulders come back a little bit, your breathing opens up, just that little effort there. As far as your neck and head, we don't want our chin sticking out forward and our head leaning forward, nor tilted back or tilted down. If we tilt down, we tend to get sleepy. Tilted up, we get kind of spaced out. So work with the back of your head. Imagine that the back of your head continues a straight line from your spine up to the back of the top of your head. What happens is, if that is extended straight up, your chin comes in naturally. Your jaw is relaxed, but your mouth is not hanging open. So your lips can be very lightly touching or very slightly parted. We're going to be breathing mainly through our nose, unless you have a nasal condition. And all the breath in through the nose. If some comes out through the mouth, that's fine too. Find your comfort place. And your tongue can just rest naturally wherever it is in your mouth. Or if you're comfortable, let your tongue drift up and just the tip of your tongue rest gently against your upper palate, just behind your front teeth. It's said that that reduces the flow of saliva, that particular posture. And the chin tucked in encourages presence and less drifting off into thoughts as if our chin was up in the air. Now, I mentioned less saliva, but it's fine. If you need to swallow, go ahead and swallow. Again, this isn't rigid. The idea is presence, experiencing what we're experiencing and working with that. So if you feel a sharp pain, you should move immediately. If you feel any kind of ache, just be with it for a bit. If you need to swallow, swallow. If you have an itch, be with it for a bit. And then if you need to, consciously move. Say, think, okay, I'm going to scratch now. And move slowly and go ahead and do that. I'm going to adjust my posture. And move slowly and gently and do that. So that we're responding to what we're experiencing rather than reacting to what we're experiencing. And if your eyes aren't already closed, you can let them gently close. Just fully inhabit your body and notice where there's tension. Let that melt. Feel your forehead, your scalp, your face, neck and shoulders. Often there's tension there. We're holding our shoulders up and don't even realize it. Just breathe out and let your shoulders hang. As you breathe out, you can let tension that you find melt. For our chest, we're using a little tension to hold our posture, to raise that sternum. Let everything melt around that. Chest, upper back, rib cage. Your arms, your upper arms, forearms, and hands. Your stomach, lower back, and deep belly. Again, we often have tension there. Breathe out, just let it melt. Let go of any clenching in your deep belly or your pelvic region. You'll notice your posture may want to sag. Use the tension you need to hold your posture. Let everything melt around that. Your hips, buttocks, thighs. We've already done our forearms and hands. Let the tension melt out without losing your posture. Feel your thighs, your lower legs, your calves, ankles, feet. Often we're so much in our heads, we don't even feel our lower bodies. Unless we stub our toe or something, and suddenly there it is. Fully inhabit your body, head to toe. Feel the depth, the thickness. We're not just two-dimensional beings, we're three-dimensional. As you breathe, feel your torso widen side to side and front to back as you breathe in, contracting as you breathe out. Let your awareness rest deep in the core of your torso. Again, not in front, but in the middle, just in front of your spine. It's quiet down there. Gentle movement as the breath comes in and out. For the first part of our mindfulness practice, leave your awareness there, feeling the expanding of your core, your deep torso, as the breath comes in, contracting as the breath goes out. Now let your eyes open about halfway so that you're looking downward under your eyelids, just a couple of feet in front of you. Again, move your chair or your device if you need to. And rather than focusing on what you're seeing there a couple of feet in front of you, soften your gaze, let it blur a bit. And imagine that what you're looking at is the space that your body is sitting in. That's what you're seeing. So you're aware of the space that your body's sitting in. You're aware of your posture. And your focus, your mindfulness, is on that feeling, the sensation of filling as the breath comes in and emptying as the breath goes out. As we do this for a few minutes, it's likely that your mind will wander into thoughts about the past, the future, elsewhere in the present, thinking about what you're doing rather than just feeling what you're doing. If that's the case, and you've lost track of that feeling of filling and emptying, it happens, mind wanders. Just smile and think, that was wandering. Reconnect with awareness of posture, space, and the feeling of filling and emptying. We'll do that for a couple of minutes. As the going fades, just relax, move a bit if you need to. Perhaps you're back in the present now after being off into a daydream. When you do this practice, if you get drowsy and your eyes close, you can shift your focus to the whole process of the breath coming in the nostrils and feeling that it expands your core and then emptying and coming out again. If you're caught up in a lot of thoughts, you can focus more on the details of the deep core. How it starts to expand, feels like it's filling and then finishes, and then shifts to starting to empty and contract. The more your awareness is down there, the less it's caught up in thoughts. But now, we shift to awareness practice. So again, take your posture and move your device if you need to a bit more. As you let your eyes be fully open, looking out. Don't artificially look up towards the horizon. Your eyes will rest slightly downward, slightly below horizon, just wherever your eyes are resting naturally. And then soften your gaze. You may even feel like you can soften your face muscles and open up your peripheral vision, side to side, top to bottom. Take a moment and without moving your eyes, let your awareness move to the left, above, to the right, below. You may be surprised at how far to each side and to above and below you can see when you have a soft focus. And then just soften that gaze and open as if you're looking at a whole landscape, seeing the whole picture at once. So you connect visually with the whole space in front and around you. And listen for sounds. My voice from the device, gaps between the words and phrases. Sounds around you. Open up your peripheral hearing. Listen for sounds in all directions, near and far. And without losing that sense of spaciousness, of visual openness, hearing openness, be open to your body sensations. Your feet pressing into the floor, sit bones pressing into the cushion, cloth or skin under your hands, the air on your hands and face, cool, dry air coming in through your nostrils, warm, moist air going out. All that's happening within the bigger space. And our breath connects us with the environment. As we breathe in, we're breathing in the environment, the atmosphere. Something that's not part of us. We don't identify the air in the room as me. It comes in, fills your lungs, and becomes part of you. As you breathe out, it's my breath going out. So that is part of me. But then it goes out and mixes with the air in the room. It becomes not me. There is no point where suddenly it shifts. So we're not a separate, independent entity from our environment. Let your attention be more on the out breath, the air going out into the environment. So again, it's a further opening. Open to the space that your body's sitting in, bigger space. Open to the space of everything you're seeing, hearing, feeling, perhaps even smelling or tasting. This is mindful awareness. Your mind is full of awareness of all your sense perceptions. And there's a sixth perception. You perceive your thoughts. So within that big space, thoughts appear, bubbling up. They bubble up and suddenly appear. And then dissolve. Sometimes replaced almost immediately by another thought. Sometimes just comes and goes. Take that spacious attitude towards your own thoughts and notice how they appear and disappear. And again, if a thought leads to another and another and captures your mind into a daydream, so you no longer are aware of what you're seeing, hearing, feeling, at some point that daydream will pop and you'll be back. When that happens, just smile, reinvigorate your posture, open your awareness. What you're seeing, hearing, feeling, and thinking. Let all of those perceptions come and go as they will. And you may find it helpful to work with the out-breath. As the breath goes out, open up to the space and everything going on. Your body will breathe in by itself. Just ride out with the out-breath into openness. And when you feel open, you can just rest there for as long as it lasts. You can always use the out-breath to go out and open. We'll do this for a few minutes. As the gong fades, we're going to maintain our spaciousness, but introduce a contemplation. Imagine that your spaciousness, your open mind, extends beyond as far as you can see, beyond as far as you can hear, out beyond the horizon, as big as the sky. If your awareness is as big as the sky, it includes everything happening on this planet. All the beings everywhere are under the same sky. All the beings everywhere live on the same ground, the earth, or oceans and rivers. We all share the same atmosphere between the earth and the sky. All those living beings share the same wish as we do, to be free of suffering and to be imbued with happiness or well-being. We all want to survive, but not just survive. Survive in a way that we can experience peace, health, and happiness, well-being in body and mind. We want to live free from, as much as possible, from suffering, pain, illness, anxiety, suffering in body and mind. Feel the connection with all beings that way. Traditionally, we can begin with one person or a pet, someone you love unconditionally. Know what makes them feel happy. Peace, health, and happiness in body and mind. Know what makes them unhappy, suffering in body and mind. And tune into your heart. Some people find it helpful even to put their hand over their heart center of the chest at heart level. Connect with your heart of kindness and compassion. Compassion is wishing you could relieve their suffering. So imagine that as you breathe in, you're actually taking away their suffering, freeing them from that, relieving them. And kindness is the wish for them to be happy. So as you breathe out, imagine that you're sending them, filling them with peace, health, and happiness in body and mind. Notice how painful it is for yourself to think of them suffering. Feel that. How happy it makes you feel to be able to send them happiness. That's the cycle we're working with here. Breathe in to take away their suffering. Send from your heart of compassion and kindness waves of well-being. Expand as best you can to as many people and animals as you can. Wishing them all to be free of suffering. Wishing them all to be filled with well-being. Everyone's heart of compassion is limitless. In your imagination, you can take away the suffering of all beings. As you breathe out, limitless waves of kindness, filling all beings with peace, health, and happiness. There may be some people you know who you don't get along with, that it's harder to wish them to be free from suffering and send out happiness. Notice that bias. There may be people in the world who are doing horrible things. It's hard to wish them to be free from suffering, hard to wish them to be happy. But notice that that bias in your heart limits you. So we go deeper to the causes of suffering, the deep ignorance, intolerance, hatred, greed, lust for power, jealousy and envy, pride, egotism. And if everyone were free of those, there wouldn't be the violence, there wouldn't be the unnecessary pain and suffering. So especially for those people who are caught, overwhelmed by those poisonous emotions. As you breathe in, imagine that you can take all of that poison, like the poison of a snake bite being drawn out. Draw out that poison from all beings. And as you breathe out, radiate from your heart of kindness. Replace those negative emotions, those poisonous emotions, with love, compassion, kindness, understanding, tolerance, generosity, appreciation, acceptance. Breathe in, take away all the poisons. Breathe out, fill all beings with wisdom and compassion, love and kindness. And as the gong fades, just lower your gaze, eyelids half open. Back to awareness of your breathing, your posture, your body, the space you're sitting in, now, here in the present. So those are all the different practices that we've done today. And you can do them on your own for as long as you'd like. And we traditionally include an intention at the beginning, which we had to have free the world of the pain and suffering caused by these poisonous emotions. And at the end, we want to dedicate ourselves to continue that intention after we practice and to express generosity by saying that this practice isn't just for ourselves. We talked about the wish that all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness, and freedom from suffering and the causes of suffering, and a deeper sense of well-being, free from the poisonous emotions and free from the biases of attachment and aversion. And so you can either repeat after me or put in your own words, may the practice we have just done be of even more benefit to others than to ourselves. And thank you for your participation in this mindfulness, awareness, and compassion session.